letting go isn't always as finished as we wish to think it is. And now you're probably like, Cate, what do you mean? And when I tell you that I think I'm over something, and then I look back at a photo and I'm dragged right back into that moment with the pit in my stomach and the heart-wrenching feelings that come with it. So, if you didn't pick up on that, today we're going to be talking about letting go. Welcome back to the It's a Girl Thing podcast. It's me, your host Cate, and we're here for another day, another chit-chat, and another you and me session. Our chats are like the best and my most favourite part of the week, and knowing that I've got this little space to talk about things that I know impact my life, that I know impact so many other girls' lives out there, it's so important to me that we make the time to talk about them, because it's so easy to continue on your day and continue on with your little life, feeling like you're alone, trapped in those feelings, or trapped in a little bubble, or that your experience is a unique experience. And thank you to the power of social media, and thank you to the power of the podcast and connecting. I've realized that I almost have no unique experiences, and it's both a blessing and a curse, I guess. So I have my notes on my laptop here, and we're going to talk through some stories of mine, as well as talk about letting go, why it's important, and how, in the long run, we can get over the things we say we've gotten over. So it's really important to me that we talk about this, and I also, gonna go back and just little plug the show real quick. And so if you are enjoying the show, please share it with a friend. As I said, there are like no unique experiences, and it's so important that we connect with each other through them, and that you know in those moments where you feel completely alone, you never are truly alone. And I'm only a message away, and ask any of the other girls who listen, I'm literally only a message away, and so are they. And if you want to get connected, you can join our It's a Girl Thing girlies group chat on Instagram. So if you want to get involved like that, you can either just send me a message and let me know you want to be involved, or you can just head over to our website, itsagirlthingpodcast.com, and connect with us on there. Yeah, let's get into it. So letting go is not straightforward. And I say this about everything. It's not straightforward, but it's doable. It isn't a one-time thing. It's something that we continue to keep working through, even when we think we're over it. And I really wanted to talk about it because I've had a couple of moments recently where things that I tell myself I'm over, I am nowhere near over yet. And I'm starting to realize that I think that's okay. Things that we don't let ourselves process are the most likely to come back and haunt us, so to speak. And I think the more we brush something under the rug, the more it's going to hurt when you inevitably have to clean out your room and essentially pull it out from under the rug to get rid of it. Healing isn't one size fits all. It isn't the way I healed from this situation is how I'm going to heal from the next situation. Everything is different, and it's important that we treat things as such. Like my breakup with the two boyfriends that I've had in my life, completely different, which meant that I required completely different ways to heal and let go from them. And I guess in that even I haven't truly let it go, but am I ever? I don't know. Maybe I will. Just because you don't talk about it anymore and you don't actively think about it anymore doesn't mean it's not still hurting you. And I want to talk about that for a moment, because the moments in our lives, they can be big, they can be small, they can be somewhere in between. Different people, different events, different moments, they all have different effects on us. And just because you put it in the back corner, and just because you're like, I don't need to say anything anymore, or just because you've ranted your little lungs out about your breakup, doesn't mean that it's not still digging away at you little by little. And it's the things that dig away at you little by little that will actually cause the most damage in the long run. Think about, I'm going to use the analogy of termites here. I don't know much about termites other than what Good Luck Charlie told us about back in those good old 2010s. But it's like termites. So you've got your house is built of wood. So imagine your house. Sorry, I muted my microphone. I'm so out of it today. Imagine your house or this feeling or this event is built, and your body and you as a person are built out of wood. And initially it just starts with the one thing. Say, you're no longer friends with somebody anymore. This is just one termite, and it's going to come along and it's going to start nibbling away at that wooden foundation, that foundation that is you. And then you don't address that termite. You're like, oh, it's fine, it's just one. I'm too scared to touch it and get rid of it right now. And then something else happens. Maybe you have an injury, or somebody bullies you, or a friendship breaks up, or you have a relationship breakup, or something doesn't go your way, you fail a test. In comes along another termite representing each of those experiences. The bigger the experience is in your life, the bigger the situation, the more termites come along. So for example, my first breakup, I'd say it would be worth 5 termites. Whereas my first friendship breakup might have only been worth 2. And something as little as failing a test or not getting the grade you want is like 1, if you get my analogy. So over time, every time you just see a new termite come in, you're like, do I really need to deal with this right now? Honestly, it's not doing any damage, but what you don't see is it's eating away at you, little by little, and it's going to leave you hollow. So my point being that the more they come along, the more damage they're going to do collectively. And if you don't do something to stop them, it's going to leave you hurt and it's going to leave you hollow, and you're not going to know where to go next. We can go through the tasks of healing and still never heal. We can still carry around the emotional weight of those moments in our lives, whether we like it or not. I want to tell you a little bit about a few experiences of mine. So, the first one I wanted to talk about was my high school best friend. And bear in mind, I don't use names on this podcast unless it's any of my current friends, who are more than happy to be spoken about. But anyone from my past, we do not use names. And that's the way I'd like to keep it. But my high school best friend, I met her back in intermediate, and funnily enough, we didn't get along then. We had like a mutual connection. She happened to be best friends with that girl at the time, and that girl and I had a little bit of beef. Our mums were really good friends, but so we'd been forced to hang out when we were younger. So that girl and I had beef, and my best friend from high school and the girl I had beef with were besties. So naturally, my best friend from high school didn't actually like me because she thought I wasn't a good person, and that's okay. We all often get ourselves into twisted situations because he said, she said, and you automatically have that like, she's my friend. If you've got a problem with her, you've got a problem with me. So I had this friend, and over the course of intermediate, I actually broke my arm, and we were in the same class, the girl that I became friends with. And she was one of the people who helped me do things that I couldn't do because I broke both my arms. And that's a story time for another day, and I've probably told it enough times already. And so she helped me through that time, and we became like friendly. We weren't like friends, but we were friendly. And so that year went on, and then we started high school, and we were in the same class, and we got to know each other some more. And in that time, we slowly became best friends. And then from year 10 onwards, all the way through to year 13, that girl was my best friend. We were inseparable. People knew us as a pair. Our teachers would occasionally call us the wrong name or expected to see us together, even when we weren't in the same classes. So that friendship had a whole lot of things happen, including some betrayal of trust, some unwanted negative emotions that came out of me in response to things. And in the end, a lot of unspoken things that might have been able to be healed if we'd actually had the strength to talk about them. And the problem with that was, so let's say November of our year 13 year. So we were like doing exams and things. We'd had there'd been some stuff that went on and through into December. And so we were kind of on like rough terms, but we had a girls' trip booked for January. So we went on the girls' trip and everything felt really good in a way from there. And then we got back and things seemed all right, but I felt like we'd kind of pushed something in that down. And then we got to the point where I moved away to uni and we talked briefly, and then kind of we just never spoke again. And I don't fully know what happened. We tried to coordinate things and things didn't get coordinated, and then people weren't interested, and then I was ignored when we saw each other in person at things, and it just kind of ended overnight. And for anyone who has a best friend or has had a best friend breakup knows that they cut really deep. So losing the person who was my person after I'd already been through a breakup that previous year was a lot. And I'm somebody who's kind of like, okay, it is what it is, right? Let's move on. But just because I moved on didn't mean I'd let go of it. And she made me this scrapbook and she'd update it every year for my birthday. And I found that when we moved house last year. And oh my gosh, I cried. And I see photos that appear on my phone and my Snapchat memories, and I'm like, wow, that still hurts. Sorry, I'm getting tears in my eyes thinking about it. Wow, that still hurts, because it was such a strong friendship in my life and we were each other's lifelines. So for it to disappear, and I don't know. And I've tried so many times. I've said it is what it is and tried moving on, and I tried healing it, but I think it's something that I need to take steps to fully let go of, and I don't know if I will for the time being while I still have part of me that's connected to her, but I wish her nothing but the best. And I just know that I'll get there. So that's the biggest thing I can think about really recently that still sticks with me. And it's funny because the funny thing about that story is because I had my first boyfriend and my best friend in high school. I dated my boyfriend and ex-boyfriend at the time for a year and a half. So from 2021, end of 2021, through till early to mid 2023. And my best friend and him kind of got along, mostly for my sake, but they also like friendly beforehand. And I was always like quite attached to my boyfriend, as you do when you're with your first love and your boyfriend, you become a little bit codependent. Not always in good ways. And I was like, oh, well, actually I need to remember that if we break up, the friendship's going to be the ones that get me through it, right? And they were. My best friend was my rock, my absolute rock when I had that breakup. But the funniest part was our friendship ended at the end of that year after, that year, same year of the breakup. But funnily enough, my ex and I became friends. And so we were actually friends longer than I ended up being friends with the best friend for. So that's interesting. But funnily enough, I actually talk to neither of them anymore. And I think that's important to know, that that in itself was a step of letting go and moving on for me. We kind of grew up together, and like losing this person who was so much like me and who was my lifeline through some of those hardest times, it's so hard to let go of that. And I think part of the pain that I still associate with it is because I felt like I lost a part of myself, because that friendship was so tied to who I was in high school. And the other thing I want to talk about is something that I still struggle to let go of, which is negative self-talk and some of the self-hatred that I had at different parts of my life. There have been moments and statements, and I've mentioned it briefly. There was like a year where I swear I cried myself to sleep most of a year. I don't even remember what year it was. That's how much I've tried to move on. But then you have those big feelings, the ones that come out of nowhere and hit you like a truck, and you're like, wait, am I still this girl? And you just kind of twist and pull out that deepest part of yourself, and the termites just like slowly have just crumbled a tiny pit of you, because you're like, wow, I thought I was over that. I thought I got through that pain, those feelings. But I think maybe those ones will always be a part of you. It's just important to remember that they're not who you are now. That who I am now is not the same as who I was last year, or the year before, or the year before. Like, I saw this trend on TikTok that was like, if you knew me in 2022, 2023, you don't know me now. Or when somebody who knew you back in 2020 tries to say they know you, no, they don't. And I think that's so true. Lots of the people in my life I didn't know back then, and I didn't even know myself back then. So it's crazy to know that I know myself a bit better now. So I just want you to know that your feelings for yourself now won't always be the feelings you have for yourself as well. So let's just take a time to reflect on the things that I've talked about and how we can continue to move on. Letting go is basically where we release the control that this moment, this event, this person had on our lives. We let go of any blame that was involved and any unrealistic expectations. You might be thinking that person could still walk back into your life, but the question is, should they really? Healing doesn't actually mean forgetting. That will always be a part of me. That will always be a part of my life. What I want it not to do is to control my feelings or the way I think about myself anymore. It's being able to detach from the pain that I felt at the time, not letting myself go back in there and feel my pain again. I felt it. I don't need to feel it anymore. You've got to keep doing it. You've got to keep letting go and detaching. It's not going to be a one-time fits all. Hey, maybe it is. Sometimes it might be. But most of my ones I've had to work on again and again and again. If you feel bitter towards a person, if you feel bitter towards a memory, it likely means you haven't healed it yet. It means you're not over it. And it means you need to sit down and take some time with yourself to unpack and go through those feelings. And I really, really want to say this one. If you feel like something's cut deep and something in you is grieving or struggling to heal, and someone or you feel that it's not that deep, it is. It was to you. It was deep and important and meaningful to you. So if you feel pain from something, if you are grieving something, it is okay. Because not everybody's going to understand, but I understand. It was important to you. It meant something in your life. Now, how do I actually let go? Still working on this, but let's talk about some things that I've noted that can help. Journal about how it affected you then. Journal about how it affects you now. And see in another month or two, journal again and see how it affects you then. Is this changing? If it's not changing, you need to do some more deeper analysis and thought into what's stopping that from changing. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. Honestly, the biggest thing I've learned about forgiveness is it's not about letting them feel okay or letting them off the hook. It's about letting yourself feel free again. Feel like you don't have to waste your time holding on to that. I also want you to think about going back to a previous moment where you've felt these big feelings, or a moment where you've realized that you aren't over it. What would you say to them? What do you think they needed to hear? And then say that to yourself. And do all of these things in love for yourself. Know that letting go will feel so good in your heart. I want you to know, as we wrap up our talk today, that it's okay to not be there yet. It is okay to not have it all figured out. It's okay not to feel healed. It's okay that it's hard. It's okay that you haven't let go. Heck, as I said, I still haven't let go, even though I keep trying and I keep wanting to. I need to unpack deeper, and that's okay. It takes time. Good things take time. So this is your reminder today, you're not alone. The moments that you have, the big feelings that you have, someone else out there's having one too. I thought that was thunder. But it's just important to me that we take the time to acknowledge our own feelings and acknowledge that we're not the only ones with them. So if you think somebody is struggling, it's okay to talk to them about it. You can let them know they're not alone. Or if you know somebody's going through something you've gone through before, you can let them know that it does get better or it doesn't get better, or that it will change their life in whatever way. I am so grateful that you're here. And I'm so proud of us. I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your friends. I'm so proud of your family, because we've gotten through everything. Even when we don't feel like we have, we woke up for another day and we made it there. And I know I can go on and on and on about this for hours, but you are the coolest person that I could ever know, because you're special, you're unique, and I love you, and God loves you, and that's so special in itself. So I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to leave a rating if you love the show, or share it with a friend. The more people we connect with literally makes my life, and I'm sure your lives, feel even better, because you know that you aren't alone, and you are not alone. Just keep swimming, my beautiful, beautiful girls, and have the best week. Bye.